Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a weekend vandalism spree targets Cuero's downtown district, what police discovered at the scene. Plus, a major bank merger is reshaping the Crossroads financial landscape. Which banks are joining forces? And the Victoria driver's license office remains closed with no reopening date. Why you're still driving to other cities.
Well, if you thought it's been a warm summer, get loaded this week. We're pushing temperatures upper 90s and heat indexes are going to be rather oppressive. We'll be talking about it. Try and stay cool this week. More later, coming up.
Plus, the deadly Hill Country flood moves to a new phase. What officials say about the massive search operation. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shauna Curry. Cuero police are investigating a string of broken windows in the downtown area. Cuero Police Chief Stephen Ellis says the windows were broken over the weekend at a total of 6 businesses in the vicinity of Church, Gonzales, and Esplanade Streets in the downtown area. No reports of anything taken or any other vandalism done. Chief Ellis says they have a suspect in mind, but they have several more leads to follow up on before they can confirm. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Cuero Police Department. One of the biggest banks in the Crossroads is set to grow even more in the next few months. Prosperity Bank is merging with American Bank, with the merger leading to Prosperity taking over American Bank's 20 offices. The total deal is worth about $321 million. Prosperity Bank has 5 offices in Victoria. Officials tell us the merger, Houston-based Prosperity, will be the #1 bank in Corpus Christi and one of the top 5 banks in Texas. The merger should be completed by the end of this year or in early 2026.
Relative to this South Texas area is we already have a very strong market presence in the greater Victoria area. Acquiring their one branch bank here in town and their 2 lenders and their retail staff is going to be big.
Prosperity Bank currently operates 283 full-service banking locations in Texas. It is already the largest agricultural bank in the state. There is no timeline for when the Victoria driver license office will reopen. It's been closed for 9 months for mold cleanup. DPS officials say the fix will cost more than $327,000. If you need in-person help, you will continue having to visit the DPS office in Port Lavaca or Cuero, where Victoria staff are helping out. You can book an appointment online or call DPS customer service for help scheduling. So for our viewer poll this afternoon, we're asking, have you had to travel outside Victoria for DPS services? Yes, you've traveled to Port Lavaca. Yes, you've traveled to Cuero, or no, you have not. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to let us know. And pretty evenly split, but 45% say they have not had to travel, and then the other 55% kind of split between having to travel to Cuero or Port Lavaca for an appointment. Continue voting, and we'll have another look at these numbers coming up on 25 News Now at 6. More than 2 weeks after a devastating flood left more than 130 people dead in central Texas, there are growing calls for accountability. Governor Abbott has called a special legislative session to look into preparedness changes statewide. Meanwhile, in Kerr County, officials are looking towards next steps in the ongoing search, rescue, and recovery efforts. Lee Waldman has the latest.
Search efforts are continuing in the Texas Hill Country following the deadly July 4th flood. In hard-hit Kerr County, where at least 107 people have died, officials have revised the number of people still missing from 97 to 3 Saturday. The drastic decrease comes after many of the people initially reported missing were found safely, according to a release from the city of Kerrville.
We are coming to the near completion of the search and rescue phase. That's phase 1. Then we get to the recovery stage. And where we are, folks, is we're getting ready to start the recovery stage.
In a special commissioners court meeting, Kerr County engineer Charlie Hastings told commissioners the conditions made survival nearly impossible in some areas.
Our model is showing heights of 40 feet, and we already know from talking to people 55 feet on some parts of the river. You can't live through that. Yep. It was a tsunami. It was an inland tsunami.
While local officials work to address concerns, Governor Greg Abbott has called a special session for the Texas legislature to address items like improving early warning systems for flood-prone areas, providing relief funding, and strengthening emergency communications. Before the special session started, Texas Democrats and activists came together to draw attention to the tragedy and the role they believe the changing climate played.
This isn't just happening in Texas. North Carolina, New Mexico, and New Jersey have recently experienced unprecedented 1,000-year floods, and these deaths are caused by the climate crisis.
In New York, I'm Lee Waldman.
The Trump administration is now moving forward with a new database to give Americans better estimates of their flash flooding risk. They had previously hit pause on the part showing how climate change makes flooding worse. Well, here in the Crossroads, get ready to sweat it out. Hot and humid weather is sticking around. Let's go to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at the forecast. Mac?
Well, thank you very much. You know, we had a fairly rainy June and July, and that's why the clouds were there and gave us the rain and all that good stuff. Now that's going away, and we're really heading in for a bit of a heat wave. The reason is high pressure is now building on top of us. You see it right about there, and that's going to be sinking the air on top of us for about 3 or 4 days. As we get to the weekend, we'll start picking up a little bit of cloud cover and maybe get a little break, but for the short term, you know the drill. Drink plenty of fluids, don't overdo it in the middle part of the day, and wear light colored clothing, and don't get a sunburn because that's harder to cool off. We'll be talking more about the hot weather facts coming up in just a minute.
Extreme weather is driving up food prices around the world, according to a new study led by Maximilian Kotz at the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. Researchers found short-term price spikes like olive oil jumping 50% in Europe, tied directly to recent heat waves, droughts, and heavy rains. The team says these price jumps go far beyond anything seen before 2020. Beef prices are hitting record highs. The USDA says it's now averaging over $9 a pound, up nearly 9% since January. Experts blame drought, smaller herds, and rising feed costs. Some ranchers have even thrown in the towel. Tyson Foods CEO says these are the toughest market conditions the beef industry has ever faced. But still, the American Farm Bureau Federation says demand for beef remains strong in many U.S. households. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton sued an adult swimming organization Thursday for allowing transgender athletes to race in a San Antonio competition in April, claiming it constituted misleading business practice. To read the full Texas Tribune article, visit crossroadstoday.com. New worldwide research recommends parents not give smartphones to children younger than 13. Researchers looked at data from nearly 2 million people worldwide and found earlier phone use was linked to mental health issues, especially for girls. That includes things like lower self-worth, poor emotional regulation, and even suicidal thoughts. If your child already has a phone, experts say don't panic, just have open conversations, set limits, and consider parental controls or switching to a simpler device. Visceral fat is the fat that builds up around your organs, and it's linked to serious health issues like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer. But getting rid of it is not easy. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither talks to an expert about how to lose that deep belly fat and boost your health.
It's a dangerous type of fat, wrapping itself around vital organs, triggering inflammation and raising the risk of major health problems.
Visceral fat has shown to increase all major chronic diseases.
Registered dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says it's important for everyone to know what kind of fat they're carrying around. Subcutaneous fat is just beneath the skin that you can pinch, while the more dangerous visceral fat is buried deep within the abdomen. Zumpano says getting rid of that deep belly fat can help you be healthier, and being active is key.
If we're sitting at a desk all day and we're only doing 30 minutes of exercise, but we're doing it every day, it's still really not enough for most people.
Zumpano says to work movement into your daily life. Try a walking desk, taking breaks to go for a walk, doing squats at your desk, wearing a weighted vest, taking the stairs, or parking further away. All can help. The next key, a healthy diet.
Belly fat can be increased by artificial and sugary foods.
So she says to steer away from sweets and toward whole foods like lean sources of protein, fresh fruits, and veggies.
Plant-based diets, Mediterranean diets have been shown to be very helpful when it comes to reducing inflammation and visceral fat.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Zumpano says if you don't get enough sleep, it can affect the foods you crave throughout the day as well and impact your metabolism. So she says it's essential to get good quality sleep every night. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. An iconic 80s TV star known for his quick wit and dramatic range has died, leaving behind a legacy that spans decades on screen and in music. Plus, the U.S. ends a major trade deal with Mexico, what it means for tomato prices at the store. Costa Rican National Police confirmed the actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, best known as Theo from the hit show The Cosby Show, has drowned off the coast of Costa Rica. Warner was vacationing there with his family. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has the latest.
Here is your turkey carving practice cabbage.
Dad, that's a cabbage.
Right. You're brilliant.
Warner, best known for playing Theodore Huxtable in The Cosby Show in the 1980s, opposite TV parents Bill Cosby and Felicia Rashad. Warner also starred in the sitcom Malcolm and Eddie and lent his voice to the Magic School Bus cartoon and played a doctor in the TV show The Resident.
This baby needs surgery in the next few hours.
So it has to happen at Chastain. All you.
This is way beyond even my exceptional abilities.
Warner was also an accomplished musician. And he won a Grammy in 2015 and was nominated for an Emmy for Best Supporting Actor for his work on The Cosby Show.
The Cosby Show was part of the fiber of American culture.
Officials in Costa Rica say the actor was caught by a rip current in the water and died of asphyxia. Warner was 54 years old. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Mexican tomato growers are bracing for big losses after the U.S. slapped a 17% duty on most fresh tomato imports from Mexico. The move ends a 2019 trade deal and could lead to fewer exports, job cuts, and falling prices in Mexico, while U.S. consumers may end up paying more. Growers in Morelos, Mexico, say that exports could drop up to 20%, and with fewer tomatoes heading north, domestic prices have already plunged nearly 40%. Thousands of cars, trucks, and tractors are sitting idle at a port in Belgium as U.S.-bound exports drop. New tariffs announced by President Trump have already led to a nearly 16% drop in vehicle shipments this year. One shipping company says their terminal is almost full as uncertainty grows over trade tensions and global demand. With Trump threatening to raise tariffs to 30% by August 1st, companies are rushing to ship what they can while hoping the U.S. and EU strike a deal. In Washington, both sides of the aisle increasing their calls for the files tied to Jeffrey Epstein to be released by the Justice Department. President Trump says even if the courts gave the go-ahead to make the grand jury testimony public, people will still want more, and more. ABC's Perry Russum has the latest.
After the Department of Justice asked the federal courts to release more information in the Jeffrey Epstein case, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say more needs to be done.
I think it's a start. I don't think we're ever going to get to the bottom of anything, all of it.
The Trump administration is running scared. What are they hiding from the American people? Release the files.
The DOJ asking the federal courts to make public grand jury testimony related to the convicted sex offender, writing in a motion, transparency to the American public is of the utmost importance to this administration.
My belief is we need the administration to have the space to do what it is doing.
Over the weekend, President Trump trying to get his supporters to move past their deep interest in Epstein, posting online, even if the court gave its full and unwavering approval, it will always be more. Epstein's former lawyer on Fox News saying the information requested from the grand jury is likely only a portion of what's in the files.
Grand jury information is narrowly tailored by prosecutors only to provide sufficient evidence to result in an indictment.
Alan Dershowitz says Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein's co-conspirator, who's serving a 20-year sentence, should testify before Congress. Dershowitz calling her the Rosetta Stone.
She knows everything.
There is a push on Capitol Hill to have a vote calling on the DOJ to release the files. This vote would largely be symbolic, getting lawmakers on the record. They have no legal standing to force the administration to release anything. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. 93 degrees right about now, but I saw the temperature push to 97. I believe that was 96. I do believe it was 97 as a high temperature for today. And those numbers are just slightly over where we're supposed to be this time of year because, yeah, it's going to be hot and the heat index is going to be unbearable for the next couple of days. We'll talk more about what to expect for this week coming up after this. I hope that your air conditioning is working well and that you're really nice to the repairman because we need to have them in good shape. In fact, this is going to be one of those weeks where not only we, but most of the state is going to be under a huge heat dome and most of the country is going to be. So this is the point where everybody's using a lot of electricity. So all I'm saying is that if you've got a couple of rooms where there's nobody going to be in there, no need to cool them down. So, you know, you can save a little bit here and there wherever we can. A little bit of high cloud cover in the central part of the state, right about there circulating. Some thunderstorms out in far west Texas, out in the mountains. But the big story is right here, a big bubble of high pressure. You've heard me talk about this, the Dome of Doom, what we call it, because this is going to be bringing us not only Texas, but much of the Midwest, a big heat wave. First big one of the season. It's been warm, I understand, but this is going to be a serious one. For us, our heat index will be at 103 tomorrow, and then getting up to about 105 Thursday and Friday, and that, including Wednesday. And 105 really the point where you really you're going to be perspiring a lot. You just don't want to overdo it, and you know what it is. You got to get the fluids, and don't overdo it in the middle part of the day as you get outdoors, because you get a little bit of heat cramp. Now there's San Antonio, here's Victoria. You can see the state of Louisiana, and basically from South Carolina all the way up to South Dakota and south. They've got heat advisories up, and St. Louis is going to be in a brutal condition right about there with extreme heat advisories. Now, it's hot here, right? It's not even hot enough for us to have an advisory, and yet we're going to be in the triple digits in the heat index. So, yes, it is certainly has arrived. And what I always say is when you see the heat wave in the Midwest, in the Chicago area, then you can see the door opening up for the tropics, and we do actually have something there. This is Future Tracker. Any precip in the next few days? We're going through Wednesday, not much for us. Through Thursday, not much for us, just out here in the mountains of western Texas. When we get to Friday, Saturday, we start picking up a few little sprinkles. In the Atlantic, we have a couple of systems to watch. First of all, we have a tropical wave here. Not organized yet, but they're certainly watching it. This has the potential to increase in about 5 to 7 days. However, there's a lot of dust out there, so it's not clear going. There's no, let's just say there's no commitment that this thing's going to actually be a tropical storm, but it is an area that you've got to watch. Also behind it, another area right off the coast of Africa. This one is also sort of getting going there. So these things we've got to watch this time of year to make sure nothing gets out of control away from us without us knowing. So 95 tomorrow in the city, and 98 out in Karnes City, and all of our western areas, you know, are going to be in the hundreds. So it's just going to be warm. Future Tracker shows you that we'll get a little bit of cloud cover in the morning off the coast, but then the afternoon will just be sunny and bright. A lot of sun, a lot of humidity, rather uncomfortable out there. For tomorrow's high, 94 down in Port Lavaca. In Cuero, you're looking at a high of about 95. So this week is generally a dry week with hot, hot, hot. Not until the weekend do we even see a cloud cover that might actually lean to a light little shower. So we're just going to have to tough it through. It is July in South Texas. That's your forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone, and we'll toss it back to Shauna.
Still to come, Southwest Airlines announces the end of an era. Find out the date when open seating disappears forever. Stocks start the week with a mixed closing. The Dow dropped 19 points, the S&P 500 climbed 9 points, and the Nasdaq rose 79 points. Oil prices slid 37 cents to $66.97 per barrel. Auto giant Stellantis is reporting a $2.7 billion loss for the first half of the year, according to early earnings results. The company behind brands like Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram partly blames the drop on President Trump's tariffs. Revenue fell 13%, and Stellantis even paused production at some plants in Mexico and Canada back in April to prepare for the 25% tariffs. The CFO says prices on vehicles may go up soon, but adds they're hopeful things will turn around later this year. We now know the date for when Southwest Airlines will end its open seating policy. Assigned seats for passengers will start January 27th. The type of seat you get will depend on how much you pay, with options like standard, preferred, and extra leg room. Tickets with assigned seating go on sale next week. This change comes as Southwest looks for new ways to boost revenue. Earlier this year, they also announced that many customers will no longer get 2 free checked bags. With scorching summer temperatures, it's no surprise many of us are daydreaming about something cold and sweet to beat the heat. 25 News Now Sunrise anchor Carolina Estrain caught up with a spokesperson from a very popular ice cream brand to find out how you can treat yourself and support a great cause at the same time.
It's July, so it is sizzling out there, and here to talk to us about a way to give back while cooling off is Mallory Imel. She is a Dairy Queen spokesperson, here to talk to us about an extraordinary opportunity. Welcome, Mallory.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. I love Dairy Queen so much, and I love this initiative. Talk to us about the Reason to Smile initiative y'all are doing right now.
Of course. So we've got a very exciting anniversary we're celebrating this summer. It's 40 years of the Dairy Queen Blizzard treat. So this iconic treat has been around since 1985. And this summer, we're also going to be celebrating Miracle Treat Day, happening on July 31st at participating Dairy Queen locations. And this day is all about giving back to our community. So on that day, if you go out to a Texas Dairy Queen and purchase a Blizzard, $1 or more will go back to your local children's hospital.
Wow, $1 or more. And so this is coming up on a Thursday for us here. Yes.
Yes, yeah, Thursday, July 31st. So pencil in your calendar to go get a frozen Blizzard treat that day.
Oh, and there's so many delicious Blizzards out there. Gosh, my favorite has to be the cookies and cream. What about you, Mallory?
Ooh, I don't know. We've got some new flavors this summer and some returning favorites. So I think my favorite this summer is probably the s'mores. That's one of the returning ones, along with our cotton candy and confetti cake. And then our 2 brand new flavors this summer are the dipped strawberry cheesecake and the mixing bowl mashup. And they've all been hits across the board. So well loved.
Wow, those all sound so fantastic. So if your cheat day is Friday, you may want to bump it up to Thursday, July 31st, because part of the proceeds are going to go back to helping someone.
Absolutely, yeah. We partner with Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So in your local communities, if your Dairy Queens are participating locations, you can have a peace of mind and that you're supporting your neighbors and supporting your local children's hospitals when you go and get a Blizzard on July 31st.
It's so great. You know, Dairy Queen is a great company. They have been here in Texas for decades, and we just appreciate everything that y'all do to keep us cool and to give back.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've been a staple in these communities for decades, and we're thrilled to be celebrating 40 years of the Blizzard. It was an immediate hit back in 1985 when it debuted. Over 100 million were sold.
Wow, well, we're going to keep buying those Blizzards and giving back to a good cause. Thank you for your time, Mallory, and everything that y'all do at Dairy Queen.
Of course, thanks for having me.
All right, well, back to you at the desk.
Well, still to come, meet the youngest performer ever at one of the world's most famous concert halls. We'll have his story coming up.
New flash flood threats. More than 80 million under alert for dangerous heat. Plus, Republicans and Democrats calling for more of the Epstein files to be released. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
A 5-year-old pianist from LA is about to make history as one of the youngest to perform at Carnegie Hall this summer. 5 years old.
Unbelievable.
Alec Van Kahadorian. I practiced this earlier and I had it. Kahadorian started tinkling the keys when he was just learning to walk, and now he is playing full songs. His dad says Alex got perfect pitch, which is a rare talent that only 1 in 10,000 people have. Even though he's still a goofy kid who loves to play all day, I mean, he's 5. Once he sits at the piano, it's a whole different story. Alec will also perform at LA's Walt Disney Concert Hall, proving big things really do come in small packages.
Yeah, but how does he do an octave, you know? I mean, how do you...
It's incredible. He just has that natural ear for music.
His hands are tiny little. I mean,
know,
how do you
yeah.
go through the keys like that? He can pick out notes like that.
He's going to do big things when he's 15, 25,
oh my
35.
Gosh, yes,
yeah.
Amazing. Look forward to seeing him perform
Hearing
somewhere.
him.
Or hearing him perform. Well, folks, we are definitely caught in a summer heat wave. Temperatures this week are definitely going to be pushing to the upper 90s to near 100. So you're going to be dealing with that heat and humidity. Now, we don't have any real rain chance until about the weekend, and that is not big. Meanwhile, in the tropics, well, things are moving around, but we're watching them, and so far, so good.
Get those portable fans out.
I will need them.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Our next newscast is in just 30 minutes after World News Now. We'll see you back at 6.